Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Michael and today I'm going to talk about the crazy steps I had to take to sell my house in Cape Town after COVID. Really what happened towards the end of March of 2020, our government put us into quite a hard lockdown. You know, I get quite upset with our government because I really believe that our government thinks that they are running a first world country. And South Africa in reality is a combination of first and third world. I've got no idea what a second world country is, but I know what third world is and I know what first world is. So first world is Europe, North America. Third world is Africa, a lot of Asia, a lot of South America. It's poor. It's squatter camps, or as the Brazilians call them, favelas. I think that's how you pronounce it. And when you put lockdown measures into place in a country and you copying what the first world has done, and you close down all businesses excepting for those that are selling food or medicine, it affects in South Africa maybe 50% of the population that actually can go into lockdown in a first world sort of environment, that you can actually stay in your own property, whether it's in an apartment building or it's your own house, whatever it is. Yes, and I can see a lockdown having an effect on the population, is reducing the spread of disease. But South Africa, I don't know what percentage of the population lives in what we call squatter camps, as I've just said, what the Brazilians call favelas, because it's absolutely impossible to practice social distancing in that kind of environment. And the people that are working in the shops that sell food are coming out of that environment to walk into a shop. So you've got them coming from a situation where it's absolutely impossible to practice social distancing. And coming into an environment that's supposed to be sterile, that we as sort of first world South Africans are standing in queues 2 meters apart, and you're only allowing a certain number of people to go into the shop at a time. Sterilized everything. That's absolutely crazy sort of environment. And when our government introduced this lockdown, they just didn't do what the first world did, Europe, North America, is they realized that if they were shutting down your business, obviously you're going to suffer tremendous financial loss. And in the first world, because they gave business owners some sort of compensation. It's our fault as government that we stopped you trading, so he has some money. But in South Africa, there was nothing like that at all. And what our President Cyril Ramaphosa said to us, they'd make it easy for us to go and borrow money from the banks if we needed to. Now, I spent from March 2020, because I was a business owner, basically I was in the hospitality industry with my house, and I ran my old house as a backpackers guest house, specifically catering for European kite and windsurfers who'd come here our summer, so from October through till March, April. Basically Cape Town is one of the most popular kite and windsurfing destinations in the world. And the whole reason for that is specifically where I used to live, which is in Bloberg, which is directly north of Cape Town, north of Table Mountain, and is on what they call the west coast. And the coast runs absolutely parallel to, or basically absolutely parallel to the southeaster that blows, and that's the dominant wind in summer. So it's safe conditions, as you want a wind that's not blowing offshore, that takes you out to sea, and it's not blowing onshore. It blows you into buildings and car parks and all sorts of nonsense. You want it to just blow along the coast. So you guarantee good winds, winds that are strong and winds that vary all the time. It's not like in Brazil, a trade wind that blows at the same speed all day, all night, same direction. Everything is exactly the same. Cape Town, your conditions change, especially October, November, December, as you can get quite strong northwesterly winds, which brings our rain. That's our winter winds. But that's all built up as swell in the Atlantic Ocean. When the southeaster kicks in again, as you've got a swell to contend with, plus the wind, which makes for exciting kite windsurfing. It's absolutely ideal conditions. But that was my house. And everything, the government didn't give us anything other than a lockdown. They gave us nothing. And all of my guests had to return home in March of 2020. They were all Germans at that stage, and they basically had to get back to Germany before Germany closed their borders. So there we were sitting, I was sitting, this is a personal perspective, in a guest house with no guests. But what happened, and the story spread around quite quickly, is people realized, people that I knew in Cape Town, that my house would be empty. Michael, can I come and stay at your house? Then I also thought I had insurance, commercial insurance, that would, according to my policy, was going to pay me quite a lot of money for a period up to 6 months. And of course our lockdowns lasted for much longer than 6 months. So I thought I was fairly well covered. And I gave these people very good rates, knowing that everybody was battling. You know, they were also not working. I'm not earning any money from tourists staying at my house. They're also not earning any money. They might be in the restaurant trade, they might be waiters or barmen, whatever it is. Nobody was working. And so we all sat, and I watched all of the news all of the time, because obviously this was critical to me. You know, I'd set up my house to really earn enough money just to keep me going. It was a pension, really. I didn't want to make a lot of money from it, but I wanted to make enough money to be able to live without doing any work. So it was my pension. And you sit there thinking you've got the insurance that's going to back you up. And I'm promising when I get paid out the insurance, I'll help all of the people staying at my house, squatting at my house in effect, by not charging them rent and whatever. The bottom line is, month after month, as you sit and you read all of the news reports, and the insurance companies worldwide fighting to not pay out insurance against COVID. So this is worldwide. My insurance for all of the policy holders in about August made a very small payment. It was 12 2/3% of what I expected to get in terms of what was written in black and white in terms of my policy. And you keep on watching, because obviously they lose the court case in September of 2020. Then they appeal, and things are supposed to be going as fast as possible through the legal system, is to help all of these people that are on dire straits. And so I can't remember, but the appeal was held early 2021. I can't remember the months, January, February, March, it was somewhere around there. And the insurance company lost their appeal. And basically they were told to pay their policy holders out in full. So I was still expecting to be paid the balance, the 100% minus that 12 2/3 that they paid, which they never did. And I never took them to court. It would be my own case, cost me a lot of money, probably kill me in the process through stress. So say 3-4 months into 2021, you're sitting reading reports about huge hotels in Cape Town. I'm specifically watching Cape Town, but all over South Africa, that have put themselves up for liquidation. They've gone insolvent. One of the hotels, for instance, was the Lord Charles Hotel in Somerset West, which is about 60 kilometers outside Cape Town, depends where you're starting in Cape Town. And that hotel used to host the British Airways staff. So it's not a Mickey Mouse hotel. You know, each airline in each city in the world that they fly to have got a hotel that they use. So it's not, where do we put our crew tomorrow, or where do we put them the next day? They just keep on going to that same hotel. The crew gets to know the staff of the hotel staff get to know them. It's easy. So each airline has got their own hotel. So you read, Lord Charles is up, it's been liquidated. And all over the country, these major hospitality premises, big hotels, whatever, are going into liquidation. And I suppose they're suffering the same as me, because they're not being paid out the insurance if they've got it. But possibly they never had insurance against notifiable disease like COVID. But huge impact. And one thing that really made me really cross with this government is, other than the fact that they stopped us from doing business, and the lockdowns were still happening right through 2020 and into 2021. It wasn't as if it had just finished. After a short period of time, it dragged on and on and on forever. Well, not forever, but it was well over a year that we were still having to live with the consequences of what they were allowing us to do and what you couldn't do and how long you could trade for and what percentage of people you could have in your premises. You know, 50% was basically the standard number, even in 2021. And at 50%, if you've got a restaurant or a hotel or a guest house, 50% you're probably on a break-even point at best. But at least you're covering your costs. But when you rely on international visitors, you're not going to get 50%, as you'd be really, very lucky to get one person coming to stay. And the guys that had come to stay in December of 2020, that's specifically come for kite surfing, the beaches were closed in South Africa to everybody, even though a beach is one place that you can surf, kite surf, windsurf, swim, dive, whatever. It has to have the best social distancing imaginable compared to, for instance, going to a public gym. Yet in South Africa the beaches were closed. I can understand it, that our black population on the 26th of December and the 1st of January flood the beaches. It's part of their custom is to go to the beach. On those 2 days, they cleanse themselves by swimming and by drinking seawater, whatever. They cleanse themselves from the previous year, or the year that has just gone past. And I suppose if the government had have closed the beaches just for those 2 days, there would have been a backlash. So they just closed the beaches through December, through January. Now you've come from Europe to come and kite surf in Cape Town, and you're not allowed on the beach. The police were arresting you if you went to the beach. That's how crazy all of these stories were. Anyway, I'm going to cut this part of the video at this point.